Hey guys, this is Amanda Wares, your host of the Homeschool Show from North Carolinians for Home Education. And I have with me my awesome co-host, Melanie Willis. Hey, Melanie.
Hello. I hope everybody's doing great today.
So we are in our favorite time of year, the Burr months. And we have the holidays coming up. They're coming pretty quick too. So guys, do you have fun or heartwarming, awesome homeschool holiday traditions? We want you to share them with us so we can feature them on our upcoming holiday episodes. Please send them to us. You can send a short video. It doesn't have to be anything complicated or long, 30 seconds, a minute tops. Tell us who you are and then share your holiday homeschool traditions. It could be anything from, do you go, Christmas caroling at a nursing home, or do you ring the Salvation Army bell, or do you do a special study, a special unit study over the holidays at home? It could be really anything at all, but we want to hear from you. So please make those videos and send them to thehomeschoolshow@nche.com. We would so appreciate it.
I look forward to seeing all that.
Yes, I can't wait. What do we have today?
Okay, so today we are looking at uncommon resources for your homeschool. And so you sat down and had some interviews, one with Ben Summers. He has an online platform called Recess, where he does hands-on classes online. That goes together, right? And then he offers a time of community for homeschoolers online so that they can actually spend time talking with other homeschoolers, which I think is fabulous. And then you had an interview with Megan Mosher, and she is a librarian, and it's a great example of how librarians can help homeschoolers. And so you need to watch this and take it to your local librarian and see what they can do to create programs similar to what she has done. And then we're going to have some homeschool news. And then Amanda's favorite episode segment is what we've seen on the internet. And we're going to answer some things that we've seen out there that you guys need to know information about. And so, Amanda, tell us about your first interview.
Yeah. So Ben Summers is a entrepreneur. He created this platform called Recess, and he had reached out to me to see if we could just have an interview, if I was interested in learning more about it. And, I am not the biggest fan of online curriculum. So at first I was a little like, it's just another online curriculum. But then I really started looking at it. And then as we had our conversation, I realized it really is different than most programs out there. And I think in particular for families that maybe don't live where there's tons of homeschoolers or tons of homeschool resources, co-ops, different groups and classes and things, this could be a great opportunity for them. What's really unique about it is the classes, first of all, are not your just run-of-the-mill classes. They have stuff like coding, they have space exploration, inventions, all kinds of really neat and hands-on things that just sound really fun and like they would draw kids in. And there's also that community piece, which again, if you live in a place where maybe there aren't as many homeschoolers, that can be a challenge. So this could provide a way to make friends, to chat and visit with other kids and families. I just thought it was really neat. And he has a great heart and really wants to help homeschool families. So I thought that was neat.
That's awesome. Let's give it a listen.
Yeah. All right. I am here with Ben Summers from Recess. Hey, Ben.
Hello.
So, can you just introduce yourselves, because you are a new acquaintance of mine and maybe new to our audience? Tell us a little bit about you, and then you can tell us about Recess, how that got started.
Yeah, cool. I'm Ben Summers. I'm the founder of recess.gg. We're a platform that helps homeschoolers who learn differently connect, make friends, and learn real skills in fun ways. And started the company about 2 years ago, and the community's grown. It started off really small, like 5 kids and myself and one of the kids' moms, and now it's a full business with a big community, and hundreds of kids join every day, and we've got 70 teachers on platform who are really amazing, and it's really exciting. And I've been interested in this space, like alternative learning, for a long time.
And what made you interested in kind of this alternative to traditional education kind of space?
I think going to public school is like my short answer to
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I
sure.
really didn't like school growing up. I did well in school. I went to a college called Northwestern,
Mhm.
and studied machine learning and statistics and that kind of stuff. So I did my homework. I did well, but yeah, I really didn't like it. I think it felt as a kid, I felt disrespected by the system on a regular basis, like that it didn't
Yeah.
really care about me individually. When I was
Mhm.
in high school, I went to a really big high school, and
Mhm.
you got assigned numbers to help, like a student ID,
Sure.
and that's cool, that's fine. But when I would go into the administrator's office for something, they would call out 1194, and they could have
Yes.
just said Ben, you know. And I think it's just like that. That's one small moment, but I think it's representative of how the system looks at the kids, and they look at them like numbers on a spreadsheet, and they don't look at them like individual people. Even if the teachers do, the system does not. And yeah, so after years of growing up and going to school and feeling a little bit imprisoned and upset
Mhm.
with the system, I always wished for something better.
And how cool that you sounds like you have an entrepreneurial spirit and you were like, I'm going to start something. Is that how
Yeah,
that happened? Or you just said one day, I think I'm going to do this?
I just didn't think anyone was building the product that I wanted to see exist, and so I guess, started out of necessity more than. It's like I wanted this experience and this way of looking at kids, and a different way for them to learn, to be something that I could give to my own kids one day, and that my
Mhm.
nieces could use, and I didn't see anyone making it. And so after a year of interviewing at all the different companies, and I decided that I would go through the pain of attempting to start a company.
I love that. I have homeschooled. This is year 21 for me. So over those 21 years, homeschooling has changed a lot. And these days, I mean, when I started, I don't know that there was any such thing as an internet or
Yeah,
online
probably
platform to
not.
do like homeschool.
Yes.
And now there's a lot of online
Yeah.
platforms out there
Yeah,
to
there
the
are.
point that I feel like it's really difficult to look at them and figure out, well, what's going to be a good fit and whatever. What makes
Totally.
Recess maybe different? What makes it stand out from other online platforms out there?
Well, there's a couple things. The first one is that a huge part of the software we build actually helps you manage that. So it helps you find the best products and the best experiences, makes it really easy to
Uh-huh.
cancel and pause different ones because it's hard to keep track if you've got 10 of them going. So that's the first part, is we actually try and help manage the chaos of having like 10 different subscriptions on the internet. The
Yes.
second one is around social. And it was kind of personally teaching these 5 kids, or helping them learn math and a couple other things, because I like math a lot. And
Yeah.
I was talking to them, they were going to like 3, 4 online classes per week. And I asked
Mm.
them like, "Oh, do you meet kids you like in those classes?" And they're like, "Yeah, we meet tons of kids we like." And I was like, "Oh, do you ever voice call with them, video call with them? Do you hang out? Do you guys sign up for other classes together?" And they were all like, "No." And I was like,
Uh,
"What do you mean?" And they're like, "Well, when the Zoom call ends, the Zoom call ends. That's the end of their time with those people, and they don't exchange information. Their parents don't get to know each other. They can't sign up for their next classes together." And I thought that was a really big miss, because when I remembered growing up, when I got my class assignments in 4th grade, 5th grade, 7th grade, 8th, high school, the first
yeah.
thing I checked is I would text all my friends and see what their schedule was. And I'd find
Yes.
out which my friends were in the same classes together. And that really made a big difference. So I thought homeschool and online learning experience was missing this part. And so we built this tool that helps, so kids can take these online classes together. And then afterwards, they get suggested to add each other as friends. And then when they add each
Oh,
other as friends, they can message back and forth. They have like a safe moderated chat that's just between them two. So it's not like letting your kid open out on Discord or whatever. They can voice call each other, they can hang out, they can spend time together. And then what's really cool is there's a big marketplace of classes, and they can see which classes their friends are in. And so, you go to this class where you're playing these strategy games, and this kid you really like to be on a team with is taking this math class.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can go join them in that math class, and you two can. And so it's cool. So like the kids have a consistent social group. They get to see the same people over and over again. They have to make real friends. They have time to kind of goof off and hang out. And yeah. And then there's some other things that make it really social. We have this thing called the community hour where anyone can join. Even if you like cancel all your classes, it's
Mm-hmm.
still available to you. And that thing is crazy. There's like 100 kids online at a time. It's in a virtual world. They run around. So anyways, yes, I would say the first one is we help manage the chaos of tons of different subscriptions and figure out which products are right for you. We review all the math curriculums. We give you really good data on it. And then the second is it's really social.
Huh, that is very neat. I think that's a cool idea. I looked at the website just to try and
Yeah.
get a handle on
Figure it
what
out.
it was
Cool.
like and look through it. So it looks like you can join Recess
Yes.
for free. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah. You try it out for free.
Okay.
We think like everyone should get to try the experience. And we think it's good enough that once you try it, you'll want to come back and love it. And 80% of people who try it end up becoming customers. So just everybody who comes ends up sticking with it.
Yeah.
Recess can work. So if you're on a tight budget, then you can cancel your classes and pay $10 a month for access to a safe, moderated chat and voice calling features and things like that. And then your kid has friends.
Okay.
And so that's usually we say
cool.
it's hard to meet people if you're not in a class.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And a lot of kids need that help from a teacher or an adult.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And-
And do you have students, like you said, now there's tons of students joining
Yeah.
every day. Where are these students coming from? Are they
all
all over?
over? I don't even know how they all hear about us, but they're from all over. Yeah, right now we're adding something like 50 a week. And it's about a third rural, a third suburban, and a third urban, which I thought was
Okay.
really interesting and weird. It's like a perfect
Yeah.
even split of all three. But yeah, so rural is way overrepresented. Tons of people from Nebraska, Wyoming, Montana, who wish they had a really great school nearby and don't. Basically,
Yeah.
is really common.
Yeah. I think it's potentially such a great solution for, I know I'm in North Carolina, there
Yeah.
are a gajillion homeschoolers here, so many
Yeah,
homeschoolers,
tons.
but there are still places in our state that don't have a
Totally.
in real life homeschool community. There's no classes to go take. There's no,
Totally.
so
Yeah.
this seems like it would be such a great solution for those people.
For those people, it's amazing. I think it's like really
Especially-
amazing. Yeah.
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 I mean, I think it could be great for other people too, but for those people in particular, I think it would be
True.
amazing
Yeah.
who
That's
say,
right.
I can't homeschool because there's no community here. There's no whatever. And what a great solution for them. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think and then I think if your kids is really into technical subjects, like they like coding or building robots or doing advanced builds in Minecraft, I think that those are really hard skill sets to find good tutors for. And so the internet is really good for that. You can get these really spectacular people who might not live nearby.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah. And no question, it is uniquely great for people who are rural.
Okay. Cool. Very cool.
And so, of course, tons of kids on Recess have ADHD. Tons of kids are on the spectrum, have autism, Asperger's. And we work really hard to make the program work for them without drugs.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. And, we say this all the time that kids are not standardized. Kids are not, they're not cookie cutter. And so why should we expect that their education is going to work for them? Very different, for sure. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. All right. So, looks fun, right?
Yes,
I think
definitely.
It sounds great. Yeah,
I think I might be interested in some of those things.
I know, for sure. So super fun and interesting. And then next, I had a chance to talk with Megan Mosher. I had met Megan a few years ago when she asked me to participate in a Zoom call for her local families that were new to homeschooling or homeschooling high school, rather. And I got to chat with them and just share about homeschooling high school. And as a course of that, I found out about all that she was doing for the homeschool families in her area, and it was just incredible. So I wanted to share that with all of you watchers and listeners out there. We're talking about maybe some uncommon resources, some places to find help with your homeschooling or your parenting, whatever, that maybe you don't think about all the time. And a couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to connect with our guest, and I thought that what she was doing and the resources that she has were so fantastic. So I really wanted to interview her today. I'm so excited. So, Megan, if you would just introduce yourself briefly and then you can just share about what you got going on.
All right. So my name is Megan Mosher, and I am the teen librarian here at the Mooresville Public Library in Mooresville, North Carolina. We offered a variety of homeschool programs. It started off, our population has been like doubling. We used to be a small town and it's really exploded. And then COVID happened. And with that, we have just seen a lot of new families moving in to the area, but also with COVID, a lot of parents were like, I'm actually going to homeschool, and it's just continuing to rise. So we saw a need to provide services to our community. I am the teen librarian, but I did reach out to our children's librarian, and she had gave me her full support to offer programs not just for teens, but for all school age children.
Wow.
So we started out, a mom had approached me to talk about like gaming and Minecraft, and she just wanted that socialization in a nice, safe place. So we
Mhm.
started out doing Minecraft and like Nintendo DS tournaments and games and stuff. And we had a good turnout for that. But then we were like, let's expand these services. And so we then started doing some STEM programming. And I know sometimes it can be hard. I had kids from kindergarten all the way to age 19 because some of my kids were, their birthdays were later in the year, or their
Yeah.
parents had just said, we're just going to take our time or whatever. So we did STEM programming, and it sounds intimidating a little bit at first, especially when you have those teens. But again, just taking that social aspect, we had things like we have Spiros, which are these little balls that you can do basic coding. They can change color and do music and code to go. And the teens were just wonderful about jumping in to kind of be an extra set of hands. Of course, they picked it up so quickly, but
Yes.
they also were getting to know each other and everything. And we did terrarium and an index card building challenge. And so there are definitely a lot of ideas out there, whether you're on social media, you can join some groups, or like Pinterest, or just honestly good old Google. So it worked really well. And I got to know quite a few homeschoolers, and I loved it because there are a lot of resources, but a lot of times they do stop at like fifth, sixth grade. So being the teen librarian, I actually drew in some teens. And then
Yeah.
we did do for just the teens at our other branch location. We have a cooking club that we meet every month. We're doing different things with that. And then we did a book club. And what I loved about the book club with the teens in particular was we were able to meet weekly. And it broke that
Yeah.
book down into chunks. And then we did activities like escape rooms, or we did a build your own dream house activity with architecture and stuff. Cause the
Yeah.
book we had was The Inheritance Games, which is about a girl who inherits all this money and stuff from a
Yes.
complete stranger. She has to live in this house that's like an escape room. So, anyways, you can have a lot of fun. And in knowing and getting to know some of these teens too, they ended up joining my teen advisory board. And
Hmm.
so what they do on that is they give me feedback on programs, prize ideas, decorating for summer. But also now I have two spots that are my homeschool ambassadors because they have a viewpoint that's different than the regular school age. And so they
Mhm.
can tell me, like, this would help me support my curriculum, or I have career goals and this program could help out, or no, that's not really relevant anymore.
Wow.
One of my homeschoolers is also an Eagle Scout. So he has led under my tutelage, of course, but we put together a program for knot tying for teens. He also has led a sushi class for us.
Wow.
Another one proposed and did a really cool abstract art program where it was almost like a game where they drew the number 2 and it said add spots to your art project and then add
Okay.
stripes or a piece of scenery or something. So there's a lot of opportunities, I feel like, with the homeschool community. And we've also done,
Mhm.
I should step back. I started out because I did a not back to school party. So I got the parents in and did a survey to find out what your community needs. Like, what are you
Mm.
looking for? Are you looking for help supporting parts of your curriculum? Are you looking for socialization? So that was really great feedback and I made a lot of connections. And then our next session, we actually partnered with our Parks and Rec department and we met up off site sometimes to do things like basketball skills, kickball, um, yoga. So, and that was a really great partnership because it helped them make connections. And now they are offering a lot more homeschool programs and people don't generally think of just Parks and Rec either. And they are the best deal in
Yeah.
town. Like they have some free, but they also have cheaper programs. Like they just came out with their stuff and they're doing physiology and anatomy, forest exploration and gardening, as well as sports and drama. They
Neat.
actually have, at least ours has a broadcasting class. So and I just
Yeah.
wanted to talk about the library a little bit because, like I said, we have opportunities for leadership and volunteer and community service. We have opportunities for everything from STEM to cooking classes to art classes, and as well as books and ebooks and e-audios. We don't purchase curriculums because there's so much out there, but we do
Mhm.
offer what's called an interlibrary loan. And that's
Mhm.
where you can fill out completely free for you and we can reach out to other libraries across the country. So if you wanted to say, can I borrow this to see if it's something I want to purchase? Or we've done curriculum swaps.
Oh.
So check out your local library, especially the Mooresville Public Library. And also the Iredell County Public Library system is separate from us. But I'm like, check
Oh,
out your library because there's so much stuff and it's free. And
yes.
we know that there's a need there and we really want to help support.
I love that. That is so amazing, Megan. Thank you.
I got I love my homeschoolers. They're such good kids and the parents
Oh,
are so
mm,
supportive. It's been a very good experience.
that is so cool. So I have a question for you. That is amazing information. And I think everybody should just take it in. It's so exciting. If there are families out there that are watching and listening right now, and maybe their local library doesn't seem to offer some of these things, is there a way, like, could they approach their library and be like, hey, have some of this? What would be the best way for them to do that?
I would reach out to your children's or teen libraries. Some libraries, the teens are part of children's, and some libraries like ours are part of adults. I'm actually part of adult services, but like I said, I collaborated with our children's librarian to make this happen. So maybe find out within your group or your co-op what your needs are and then approach, because I know in the past, the children's department has done things like spelling bees or the family style book clubs and for me, we were offering like a Saturday STEM, and then I was replicating it with a homeschool just because that met their schedule better. So I would reach out because sometimes I know with our Parks and Rec initially too, we had some talks because they didn't know how to reach out. Like they didn't
Right.
have a connection. And a
Yeah.
lot of like the social medias, you have to be a homeschooler. And I just went on there and was like, hey, it's Megan from the library. And I want to be able to tell people about the services. But or they may just not have thought about, oh, you're right, we could partner on this. And if you have some ideas, and they, of course, would need to look at their schedule and stuff. But also just throwing this out there too, check out surrounding libraries because some libraries you can get a free library card for across the state or even within the
Mm.
country. So I just
Mhm.
use all your resources at your disposal. But yeah, I would
Yes.
approach, I would call the library or look up and get their email and say, hey, I would love to talk to you about this opportunity. And just come prepared with some ideas of how the library could help support you in your
That is amazing. Such good information. Thank you so much for doing this
absolutely.
interview and sharing this. I think it's really going to help families out there.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Wow, that's awesome. I wish I had had that while I was growing my children up.
I
We're kind of
know. I
past
know.
that point now, but that's really awesome.
It really is. There's so much that she has, implemented for kids and whole families of all ages. It reminded me of my son-in-law, actually, who was homeschooled in a little bit more rural of an area. And they didn't have a lot of co-ops or sports or different things available to them. But his local librarian did so many programs just like Megan's doing. And so that was such a great resource for their family. That's where the kids went and did classes and clubs and different things like that. So I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. And ultimately, because I've had several librarians reach out to me lately, and they really do want to help. And so, even if your library doesn't have a program, going and talking to them and saying, hey, is there anything that you can do to help our
Mhm.
homeschool community? I am sure that a lot of these places would gladly start something up. So, you should share this video with your librarian and let them know because it's definitely a fantastic idea.
Yes, I love that. And guys, comment with, do you have any uncommon resources that you've used in your homeschool? I'd love to hear about them.
Yes, and we'll revisit this topic next week with another couple of uncommon resources that we could use. And so right now,
Awesome.
let's listen to some homeschool news.
Great.
Hello, this is Micah Pipes, student intern with NCHE, here to bring you your homeschool news. There are tickets available for a Christmas Carol to take place on Wednesday, December 10th in High Point. And just last week, ticket sales for this year's NCHE field trip to Charlotte Ballet for the Nutcracker became available on our website. This will take place on December 17th. We know you want to take part in this wonderful seasonal event. This event will sell out soon. Tickets for both these events can be found at nche.com/activities. Will you have a student graduating this coming spring? NCHE offers several opportunities to meet your graduate's needs. A distinctive diploma, a statewide graduation ceremony, a special graduate edition of the Greenhouse, and college scholarships. Don't miss these opportunities to celebrate this momentous occasion. This year's ceremony is May 23rd, 2026 in Winston-Salem. Learn more about what NCHE has to offer on our website at Graduate Central. Until next time, this is Micah Pipes with your homeschool news. Have a great day.
All right. Always love to hear what's going on around the state.
So, Amanda, are you ready? It is
I don't
time.
know.
It is time for what we've seen on the internet.
All
And
right.
so I have some tough ones for you to start with today. And
Okay.
so I'm going to read the bulk of this woman's post. I will say I'm not going to say the name of the school that she's referencing, but I know we've heard a lot of people use outside schools that most of them are specifically universities that are offering programs for homeschoolers. And hopefully, Amanda's going to give you a little bit of insight that will be really important to your homeschool journey if you are doing that. And so this woman, she is homeschooling her high schooler. And
Mhm.
so they've started their second and final year for one of her students. And he is using one of these online universities. And so she received her email from the Department of Non-Public Education asking that she update her ages and the attesting, as we all do every year. And so she sent the list of the tests to her son and said, which one of these did you do in school? And he says, I didn't do any of those. And so she was really upset. She's like, I thought that this school was all inclusive and that they were going to send everything and upload it for me to the Department of Non-Public Education. And so she's really at a loss now as to what she needs to do.
Indeed. I wish that this was an uncommon story, but it's really not. I hear this, get emails and see posts and get phone calls similar to this story all the time. And it is confusing. So, first of all, let's back up a little bit and talk about online private schools. In North Carolina, there is no provision in the law for an online private school. So, some of the common ones that you might have heard of, Penn Foster or Bridgeway or Liberty University Academy, things like that. Those schools do not have a physical presence. They don't have a premises in North Carolina. And so right now, there's no provision in the law. In the law's eyes, they are just a curriculum that we choose as a homeschool. So you are free to choose one of those online private schools. But to do that, you do have to open your homeschool and follow all parts of our homeschool law, including giving that annual standardized test. The problem is that a lot of times these online schools, they're not based in North Carolina. They don't know our homeschool law. And so a lot of times they'll tell the families, we've got it covered. We'll do everything you need. And so really it's just a failure in communication, failure in knowledge on all the parts to just really understand how our homeschool law and system works. So if you want to use one of these schools, by all means have at it. A lot of times I kind of look at them as sort of an expensive curriculum choice, but I know for some families, the oversight that they provide, it can be helpful. So if you choose those, that's fine. If that works for your family, great. But make sure that you are, in addition to whatever they're doing, that you are responsible for following all the parts of the homeschool law. So you need to make sure you open your homeschool legally, you take attendance, you keep your current vaccine records or the appropriate exemption, you have school on a regular basis during 9 months of the calendar year, and you administer that nationally normed standardized test once per calendar year.
Very good. Very, very good. And so our next question, we have a homeschool mom that has some younger students. She has a first grader and a third grader, and she is really struggling to find balance. She started out the year, they each have their own math and their own reading program. And then she was hoping to kind of blend everything else together. But she's finding she is struggling to get past the math and reading to even add anything else. And she's like, help me. I don't know what to do. So, do you have any advice for this struggling young mom?
Yes. First off, I totally admire the thought process to combine what you can combine. I think that is super, super helpful. But especially when they're so young and they're in that stage of really learning the basics, learning to read, learning to write, learning all those basic foundational math skills, sometimes that can be plenty. Really, it really can. I know that sounds scary, but it really can be enough. If you are focusing on, teaching a student to read, teaching a student to write a sentence, teaching a student those basics of adding and subtracting, that can be plenty. So don't feel pressure to do all the things. Definitely don't feel pressure to do all the things every single day. I have known lots of families that they made sure they had their anchors. They did their English and their math every single day. And then maybe they did science once a week. Maybe they did history once or twice a week. And that's fine. It is okay to make your schedule work for you. Don't let, that curriculum, the wonderful, and oh man, there are some wonderful curriculums out there. Use some that I loved for history and science, but it's really important to not let your curriculum and whatever schedule they have master you. You are in charge of that curriculum. So
That's right.
use it as a tool. Yeah.
I definitely love the doing a group thing. I've always done that. At one point in time, I had 5 youngers at home together in all different stages and ages. Yeah, some days it was just everybody getting that math done or everybody getting that reading done. And then we would choose a different day to just do group time.
Yes.
And that looked different every year. Some years we were consistent and we at least had Bible together every morning and then would separate. And yeah, some of these great curriculums out there, and we used a lot of Apologia because even for the olders and then you had youngers, they had 2 different notebooks. So they had a junior notebook and then a regular notebook.
Oh,
That
yeah.
made it so easy on me. By the time we
Yes.
rotated through 6 different sciences, everybody had everything. So that was great. But you have to read what's happening in your school at any given time. And sometimes it's just focusing on one thing, and that's okay. It's really
Absolutely.
okay. They're gonna be all right.
That is so true. So true.
Yes. Well, I just want to remind everybody what we said at the top of the show. We are taking those videos to the Homeschool Show at NCHE.com, telling us all about your holiday traditions. I cannot wait to hear all about that. And as always, please like, comment, share with your friends, and do not ever hesitate to reach out to us. Let us know what you think or what you'd like to see. Again, that email address is thehomeschoolshow at NCHE.com. And we just hope that you continue this journey with confidence and joy. Have a blessed day.